It started off as a night to celebrate. The night of their high school graduation, Bailey Goodman was driving around town with her 4 best friends in the car. But in a matter of only minutes, everything changed. When she was only about a mile away from her house, Bailey started texting another one of her friends. Suddenly, she heard one of her passengers scream. But by the time she looked up, it was too late. She had hit a tractor trailer head on. All 5 of the girls in the car died that night. Bailey took away her life and 4 others for the sake of texting one of her friends, maybe a minute or 2 earlier than she would have been able to if she had just waited until she got home. Now everyone has to suffer the consequences. The Federal Motor and Carrier Safety Administration found that for every 6 seconds of drive time a driver spends sending or receiving a text message, 4.6 of those seconds are spent with their eyes off the road. This makes texting the most distracting of all cell phone related tasks. I'm now going to tell you about the negative consequences of texting while driving, what the United States is currently doing to try to fix this problem, and what they need to do to completely eliminate this issue. Did you know that the leading cause of death among the ages 2 to 34 in the United States is motor vehicle accidents? Driver inattention is the leading cause of these accidents, and both talking on a cell phone and texting behind the wheel lead to driver distraction. Whereas this also includes talking on a cell phone, psychologists at the University of Utah found that texting behind the wheel is 50% more dangerous than talking on a cell phone. If the leading cause of death among this large age group is car accidents, and the leading cause of these car accidents is driver distractions, don't you think that something needs to be done to fix this problem? Every year, approximately 43,100 people die in the United States from car accidents. This means 118 people are dying each day from car accidents. And what is causing these accidents? Driver distractions. A study conducted by the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute found that 50% of drivers between the ages of 18 and 24 are texting while driving. On October 29, 2009, U.S. Secretary Ray Hood spoke before the Committee on House Transportation and stated, "Experts agree that there are 3 types of driving distractions. 1, visual, taking your eyes off the road. 2, manual, taking your hands off the wheel. And 3, cognitive, taking your mind off the road." Whereas all types of distractions can adversely impact safety, texting is the most dangerous because it encompasses all 3 types of distractions. He then continued on to say that a texting driver is 20 times more likely to be in an accident than a non-distracted driver. 20 times more likely. With the extreme likelihood of an accident occurring based upon these statistics, it again needs to be emphasized that not only is the driver's life at risk, but any passengers as well as all other users of the road. If the 500,000 injuries and large number of deaths occurring yearly isn't enough, then the huge costs that have accumulated to damaged vehicles must be considered. Someone has to pay for these damages. Not only are costs accumulating here, but people are having insurance rates that skyrocket because of car accidents. People are dying, their insurance rates are going up, and their cars are being destroyed, all from something that could easily be prevented. The Federal Motor and Carrier Safety Administration found that a driver traveling at 55 miles per hour while texting travels the length of a football field, including end zones, without even looking at the road. This is beyond enough time for an accident to occur. Even after hearing all this, you may still think, no, I've texted while driving before, and I can do it while still looking at the road and focusing on my driving. But no matter how much you think this, you can't. Maybe you don't actually text while you drive, but the fact is that half the population your age does. Maybe you're not putting your life or others' lives at risk from texting, but because so many other people are texting while driving, every time you get into a car, your life is at risk, and everything could be taken away from you in a matter of seconds. Car and Driver magazine conducted an actual experiment to determine just how distracting texting while driving really is. They even compared it to drunk driving. The experiment was conducted by determining how long it took a driver to brake once a light turned red. When over the legal limit, a driver went 4 feet further than did the regular driver upon a light turning red. A driver who was receiving a text message went 36 feet further than did the normal driver, and when actually in the act of texting, the driver went 70 feet further than did the normal driver when the light turned red. Obviously, we all know that it's illegal to drink and drive, yet we still text and drive, even though this has been proven to be more distracting. So why, if there are strict laws at the national level to prevent drinking and driving, is there none for texting and driving? Currently, 19 states have outlawed texting and driving. But punishment for this is only $150. Sure, it's more than a few dollars, but is it really going to take care of the overwhelming percent of people who text while driving? The solution to this is to eliminate texting by creating stricter punishment at the national level. We don't need to only reduce accidents in some states. We need to reduce accidents in all of them. If states are not willing to adopt these new policies, the government needs to threaten to take away their highway funding. This was the same approach used when outlawing drinking and driving. And do you see any states today that still allow drinking and driving? No. If it appears to a police officer that a driver is texting, that officer should have the right in every state to pull that driver over. If it's an invasion of privacy for the officer to look at the driver's phone, the officer can call the cell phone company to get a record of the driver's text messages. This would prevent the police officer from seeing who the person was talking to or what they were saying, but only the time the person was texting and whether or not this is when they were driving. If found guilty of this, the punishment needs to be of a higher monetary rate. The points need to be added to the person's license, and the driver must be at risk for losing their license. On a primary offense, the driver needs to be fined $1,000, and 3 points need to be added to their license. The driver's license must also be taken away until a new technology that is now available is installed in their car. This technology prevents a driver from texting while their vehicle is being operated and only costs $80. Only upon installation of this new technology will a driver again be allowed to drive. To further eliminate the problem of texting while driving and use this new technology, every car that is put on the market starting in the year 2013 must have this technology put in place. All of these new regulations may sound demanding, but because texting while driving is more hazardous than drinking and driving, they should seem of regular demand. In the same way that we are educating the public about the hazards of drinking and driving, we need to educate them that the consequences are even greater for texting and driving. By adding new materials to driving educational courses, we will be able to better educate the drivers of tomorrow. Last year, $155 million was raised from cell phone service revenue. By increasing sales tax on cell phone services by just 1% until these new materials can be updated, we will be better able to educate people of the hazards of texting while driving. In trying to pass a law to ban texting while driving in Georgia, U.S. Senator Jack Murphy on March 22nd stated, 5,000 teenagers will die this year from texting while driving. This needs to send an important message out to teenagers and their parents. Let's send this message out to everyone. The United States needs to create and enforce strict laws at the national level to prevent texting while driving, to prevent these deaths from occurring, and to eliminate a factor for a leading cause of death in the United States. Thank you.